of us.
That's fine. That the pictures of us will just stay there, and we've got the presentation there. Yep. Wow.
Ooh, okay. Here we go. So this is what the flat Earth projection looks like, the plan view, and you see Antarctica is the circumference there on the outside, circling the whole Earth. That's what we call the South Pole, and this is why countless sailors that have tried to circumnavigate Antarctica have spent years doing so, including Captain Cook. He spent, I think, nearly 4 years, and he logged 60 to 70,000 miles, and he still did not completely circumnavigate Antarctica. Reason being is because it's longer than, it's probably about 75,085, or between 75 and 85,000 in circumference.
And if it was a little island on the bottom of a ball, Santos, it would only take a short time to circumnavigate. If it's just a little icy island at the bottom of a ball, it shouldn't take that long, right?
Well, it'd take about, think about it, how long would it take to travel 12,000 kilometres? You'd probably do it in about 6 weeks. You should be able to, do it now anyway. In modern times, they should be able to do it. They should be able to fly around it in a jet and film the whole thing. They don't, and they won't, because they can't. As we will see, this is quite a different world in which we live. We live in quite a different world to how the materialist evolution, Darwinian evolution model types are painting for us. They have no idea at all. At least what you will see in today's presentation, you will come closer to the truth than you will ever be, because we need to marry syncretism with the flat Earth model, and because syncretism, it subscribes to the ancient cosmologies, and the ancient cosmologies will teach us how the universes are created and where it is that we live. This is the sun and the moon in their circles above the Earth. It appears at this point they are somewhere in the middle. This looks like they are somewhere in the equator region. It doesn't look like it's high above Australia there on the Tropic of Capricorn, and it doesn't look as tight enough of a circle to be at the Tropic of Cancer. Cancer is much smaller of a circle. There is the Gleason map. I've ordered this. I should have had it in the mail weeks ago, but it keeps going to the wrong address. And the guy at the location where they print these maps, he's getting very frustrated. He's had it come back to him 3 times. But this is the true map of the Earth that we live on. It's flat.
So you can buy them still, Santos?
Yeah, I bought the big one. It's about $110, and it has all of this, what's called, it's the equidistant azimuthal projection. So equidistant azimuthal, that's what it's called. It's, the flat Earth is basically just a simplified way of describing the planet on which we live.
Planet, yeah.
Yes, and it is. That's what planet means. It means plane. And so what you see here, this is very, very telling, this cartoon-like depiction of the cosmos. You see the spheres in which we live. We live in these spheres. There are 10 of them, as they teach in Kabbalah, the 10 Sephiroth, the tree of 10 Sephiroth, and they are concentric circles. Okay, so I won't dwell on them so much right now, but this is a depiction of these spheres, and this is not a correct one, by the way. What they've done here is they've put the flat Earth down here, and above that they've put the a dome, and they call it a solid dome. Now, this is wrong. This is not right. It's not correct. Especially the fact that they've put the stars in there. All the fixed stars do not belong to that first sphere. This dome-like structure called the firmament does not belong here. It belongs in the 8th sphere. There are seven spheres before that sphere. Okay, and so, but this is more or less correct, and it shows. Notice those 3 layers underneath the flat Earth there. You notice the green layers below?
Yeah.
Right. There are 7 more of these planets under our Earth. Okay, so it's an octave system. Our Earth is the topmost, and below that are 7 inferior gross planets. Now, the 7 superior planets, they are Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And they are not planets. They are stars. Okay, the Sun and the Moon are called luminaries.
Yeah.
And the so-called planets, Venus, Mercury, etc., those are stars. They are luminous bodies. Astronauts with physical bodies cannot go there. You can't go to Mars. Now, these people who think they've gone to Mars, they've gone somewhere, yes, but they haven't gone to Mars, because you can't go to Mars as a physical body, not these bodies. So astronauts are telling poo-poos, and so are the people who believe they've gone to Mars and back and what have you. They're not telling direct lies, because they do believe they went to Mars because they were told they went to Mars.
Yeah, they're actually somewhere, right? There's a colony somewhere, but is that on one of the inferior Earths, would you say?
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. It's at the very least, it's one of those 7 planets that resembles Mars in the higher octave.
Right.
Okay. Now, I probably should wait for some further slides before I go into this, because people need to see the structure of the heavens according to the ancients before I jump in and preempt the true wisdom with my own, clouding and my own very insufficient language skills and eloquence. No one can do justice to the cosmological system ever. You must have a spiritualized, intuitive mind activated to at least be able to attempt to conceive it and understand it. Whereas some people would just jump off and say, oh, this is all nonsense, and they would rather subscribe to the consensus reality model of the globe because everybody else believes it, and without any proofs or evidences. It's simply ridiculous. So let me just get through a few more slides, and then I'll be able to expound on this much, much further. This is the Kabbalistic system, okay? In the center here, you have the Earth. The Earth is Malkuth. It is the 10th sphere. It is the earthly plane. And above it, you see the 7 rings starting from the moon and then going to Saturn. And then above Saturn is the firmament. That's what's the firmament. That's where the true firmament is. So in the first slide we saw just prior to this one here, you can see the stars are first, and then above that they've got the moon, then Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and then there's nothing beyond that, and on top is the throne of God. Well, this is wrong, because those stars should be above Saturn.
Right.
And this is the correct model. Okay, so I'm offering this presentation, this slide, so that we can be able to conceive it in our mind's eye. Okay, now, so the firmament is this starry abode here. Uranus is the ruler of that 8th sphere, and those are the fixed stars of the zodiac and all of the 48 ancient fixed constellations. There are now 88 modern constellations, but the original ones were 48. All of those stars, they are all in the firmament, okay, with the exception of a few stars such as Sirius, Ursa Major, the Pleiades, probably the Orion system, and Canis Major. All right, so there are some exceptions, but 99% of the stars you see in the sky, they all belong to this sphere, the 8th sphere, and that's where the fixed stars are. And this sphere actually precesses. This is where precession occurs, because it is not syncing with the sun's ecliptic. So in other words, on the 21st of March at the equinox, rather than the equinox pointing to Aries, it's now pointing to Aquarius. So we say that we are in the age of Aquarius. Well, that's because this particular firmament, this starry sphere, is precessing, okay? And your sidereal astrologists, like your Jyotish and Vedic astrologers, they use the stars in that sphere to denote the stars of the zodiac, whereas in the Western tropical system, the constellations are actually on the ecliptic. And so those never precess. So the tropical system, which is what I'm teaching, and it's also biblical and hermetic astrology, is based on the ecliptic, okay, the sine wave. Now, above the firmament is what's called the crystalline sea. This is the 9th sphere. And then above the crystalline sea, which is ruled by Neptune, it is a sphere of water, psychic water. And these are the waters above the firmament. So above the firmament, there is water. And below the earth, there is water. Okay? The earth is suspended by waters. And then above this 9th sphere is what's called the primum mobile, which means the first motion. So the first motion is fixed and firm, and so is the earth. That's why we call it terra firma. Terra firma means it is firm. It's not moving.
Okay.
And the scriptures do tell us that the Lord created the earth and firmly established its pillars. See, the earth is firmly established.
Is that why we can't see any movement of the northern star if we're in the northern hemisphere? Whenever we're around the North Pole, that it never wavers. It always it's almost like the axis point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is the axis point. In fact, Polaris is directly above Brahma's. That's what I was trying to merge those two words. Above Brahma's locale, you could call it, or loca, which is above that mountain in the center of the North Pole. What we are going to learn, Eilish, and we are going to understand from now on and forevermore, is that the cosmos we live in is a beautiful creation of a very, very intelligent primal cause, the root cause of all causes. And in the West, we call that, I don't know, Jehovah, Allah, Christ. In the East, they call it Krishna. And this intelligence of beautiful form and omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence is everywhere a conscious being permeating all of the universe. And this is what we're going to learn. We're going to get away from the mechanical evolutionary global model that we've inherited from the sociopaths that have created this false scarcity shortage, energy shortage model of a ball. But we'll get to that. There's plenty of time for getting into that. I think it is more important to establish the roots of our cosmological system first. So here we see the scriptures.
Sorry, Santos. Just a comment or a question. From the graphic I'm looking at, it reminds me very much of the Russian doll Logos point of view that was written about by Dr. Joshua David Stone, in which there's, for example, the Logos, which is the soul that inhabits this body, and then the planetary Logos, and then the solar Logos, the galactic Logos, and so forth. Almost like that particular graphic that you're showing at the moment reminds me of the embodiment of the divine within the Logos system, as in the series of Russian dolls example.
Yes, perfect. You see, that sphere at the center called Earth is an anagram for heart.
Yeah.
It is always the core of the system. Core means heart. And so this is the Logos is the creator of these worlds. The Logos means word. Word in Latin is verb. Verb is vibrate, vibration. Vibration is sound. Reverberate, radiate. Now, what this is showing is that the Lord, by which name we wish to call him, Jehovah, Allah, uses energies called electricity to create material worlds. And the powerhouse which produces this vibratory force is magnetism, divine magnetism. And this force of electricity is what's called the second creator, the demiurgos, the god of matter, because it vibrates, and it uses 5 different kinds of electricity. And the 5 different kinds of electricity are the same kinds that our body uses for the senses. There is a different electrical circuitry in our nervous system for eyes, for vision, for sight, for the sense of sight, and there is different electricity used for smell and for touch and for hearing. So light works on the sight and vibration works on the sound. Now, usually the 2 most common forms of electricity are those 2 there. And so this is where the Logos becomes the creator through sound, or the creator that produces through light. And so the sound that the creator uses is om, or atom, and this is why the Egyptians say all is atum, and that is the sound of creation. And all theologies have this atomic, Adamic, God-like theology, because it's all based on atomic electrical vibration. Okay, so
atom and Adam are etymologically similar too.
Yeah, and notice you said etymologically, because what is etymology if not the science of atom? It's
Yeah.
everything is the science of atom. So is your anatomy.
Yeah.
And so, and you will find, if you look at my presentations dealing with atom, you will understand this. It's pretty clear because the ecliptic is called atom. The sine wave is called atom. That's the big secret. That's the big secret, that all sine waves are called atom. They are all atomic. So an atom is a sine wave. It's a thought wave universe. And so when you speak about the logos, you have the first logos, the first cause. Then you have the second expansion. So that would be Krishna. And then he expands into Balarama, his brother. And it becomes Narayan or Vishnu or Mahavishnu. And then Mahavishnu is the creator of all the worlds, and then Brahma creates the physical worlds. And we'll have a look at that in a minute. But this is the Jewish Kabbalistic Hebrew system. Now, so you can see here, these are the 10 spheres, and at the very, very top is the cause and the source of all of this. Above the rose, the red rose of the Rosicrucians, you see that golden pyramid, and it points upward to the supernal empyrean. And so outside of these 10 conditions, of these 10 spheres in which we live, is the cause, the spiritual causes of these worlds, and that is the empyrean. And that is an unconditioned abode. And so out of that unconditioned abode comes all of these conditioned abodes that we